good to go?
Oh,
Yes, we are
sorry, sorry.
started. We are
Thank
Oh, no,
perfect.
no, I'm not in a rush. Whenever you guys are ready for me to pop off.
Yeah, go off, King.
Alrighty. Welcome, one and all, to a level 1 guide to Chipp Zanuff. His character's
Yeah.
fucked up, and he's top tier. Don't let anybody tell you different. Also, Prior, are you recording this? Do you want me to?
Yes, I got it.
Alright, sick. Uh, okay. Chipp Zanuff. So the basic concept of Chipp is that he is a high speed, high mobility, and high versatility character who suffers primarily from low damage and low health. His most basic game plan is to get a knockdown or a pressure starter, which I will show you, and begin hitting you with a barrage of mix-ups over and over and over again until he eventually kills you through mostly little bits of damage. Probably the simplest place to start understanding Chipp is just with the neutral game. Let me take the UI off screen actually while I'm doing this. So, there we go. So, the big thing with Chipp's neutral is that he's really fucking fast. He can cover amazing amounts of space very quickly, both on the ground and in the air. As well, in the air, he has a triple jump, which does actually affect his movement a lot. In particular, he can air dash and then jump again, which is very scary because it means he can do stuff like this and make it safe. His general neutral game plan is going to be rotating between the neutral triangle of like hitting preemptively, whiff punishing or playing reactively, and just establishing pressure. The way he goes about that are with a couple important moves. Far Slash is a big one. Button is 9 frames. It's very, very big. And it does not give him a lot of reward. Usually he will get Rekka 1 and 2 at best. So while it's not hugely threatening, it is a problem to deal with because its hitbox is just incredibly cursed. It hits higher than it looks, it hits faster than it looks, and is a big threat you need to worry about. Its biggest weakness is that it gets low profiled very easily. Most 2Ks will go under it and will either counter hit it or whiff punish. A lot of 2Ds, every single 6P. It is very, very easy to... Any move that lowers your hurt box whatsoever will probably go under this move. Furthermore, it also only has 2 active frames, so it's very easy to just get it to whiff, and it has a lot of recovery. So, not the most problematic move to deal with, but something that you need to be aware of. His other primary neutral tools are going to be 5K and 2K, which are both primarily used as whiff punishes. Someone's going to hit a button and he's just going to run and do something like that, just to sneak under it. Really, if he's close enough to whiff punish you, and you hit a button that's whiffable, you're going to get hit. So a lot of it is about controlling space. It varies per character. For example, on Soul, Chipp is probably going to be wanting to stand right about here, because here he can kind of respond to everything. Ideally with Chipp, you want him to be so far that he does not have enough time to come in and whiff punish your buttons, or close enough that you can contest him with your lights, 2K, 5K, that sort of thing. He also has 2D, which is 10 frames, so not exactly slow, and it goes deceptively far, and this is another really strong whiff punishing tool, and again, will usually give pressure, just let him kind of run at you. Other than that, he's got JH and JD for air approaches. They're pretty much like any jump in, just, be aware that he can jump after an air dash as long as he has not jumped before then. And then you can, do stuff like this to just constantly mess up your anti-air timings, and in general, you do not want to be directly below Chipp, so his air mobility can be really threatening. He also has Jump K, which I'm going to bring this up I'm going to bring up this move because it is incredibly good at just air-to-airing. In matchups where the opponent wants to spend a lot of time in the air, Chipp will spam this a lot. It is really, really good. It's always 2 hits. So if you have to spend time in the air, be aware that he can just kind of throw this out, and there's not a ton you can do about it. Lastly, for neutral, Jump 2K. This move is fucky. It's really annoying to deal with. He can spam it. He can do weird cancels off it. Do all kind of nonsense. It's really annoying, and a lot of people get pissed off about it. The easiest way to deal with it is to either learn the timing to 6p it, because it is very 6pable, or most characters can anti-air close slash it, including Kai. And I know someone here is thinking that, but Kai can definitely anti-air close slash this move. Uh, it's doable, I promise. It's if you actually look at the hitbox on Deathloop, it's really not as bad as it might seem at first glance. So
The presenter's lying.
just get used to it, and probably mess around in training mode to practice when you need to hit a button to anti-air it.
We'll mark the
All
video
right,
as needs to be fact checked. Don't worry, Ashin.
Sorry.
We'll mark the video as needs to be fact checked. Don't worry, Ashin.
All right. Any questions about Chipp's neutral game?
Is there like I mean, you said like there's a specific kind of range that he'll look to be at to do the whiff punishing. Is there like recommended buttons for what his general approaches are? Like if he's approaching with close slash and 2K most, right? Like are there something that you would recommend as just like something to start playing that RPS with?
So it varies really heavily per character, I think. And it's also because the specific range he wants to play at will vary really heavily per character. For Soul, who's on screen, Chipp is going to want to sit at this range because this is just outside of Soul's 6S range, which is a really, really big button. In general, I think if you want to start thinking about it, as a character, you should look at like what are your standard issue pokes. For Soul, that's 6S, 2K, far slash. Testament is probably far slash and 2S a lot, maybe 6P. Kai, far slash 2S, 6H. The things you just kind of throw out a neutral generally for free. Typically, Chipp is going to want to play right outside those ranges. Like just hovering just on the edge of them, trying to get you to press them and whiff so that he can come in. So to deal with that, you start pressing whatever your button that's sort of one level shorter than that is. So for Testament, you're hitting far slash 2S. All right, now the buttons to deal with those approaches are like 5K, 2K. In general, K buttons if you have a good 5K is really helpful for dealing with that. For some characters who don't have that option, someone like maybe Milia or someone who's kind of short range like that, using movement might work a lot better than just try to catch them with a button. Or you do sometimes get like some weird shit where like if you're Gold Lewis, your K buttons just don't really work, so you have to try to contest with your punches, 5P and 2P. So it is kind of character specific, but generally I'd say just go like one level shorter from what your standard issue pokes are to catch him running in. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When you say shorter, do you mean like lengthwise or frame-wise?
Yes, it usually should be both.
What do you do? Say somebody plays Kai Kisk, say like a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And you try to oppose him in neutral with 5K and 2K, but you just keep getting hit. What do you do then?
So it depends on how he's hitting you, right?
Sure.
So what's the? There we go. So if you're doing that, or let me do this. Nope, that's not the button. There we go. Right. So if he's doing this, right? Like he just jumped. I'm just throwing out 5K in neutral. Like if he is counter hitting you like that, then you're just pressing too late. In which case, try to be a little bit more preemptive or try to play a little bit further back. If he's doing something like this, hold on, it's actually really hard to fucking whiff punish this move, but he's coming in behind it. If he's coming in behind it and either whiff punishing it or just getting you to block after your 5K, then what you should do is actually go back to hitting your slightly longer buttons, because that means he's waiting. The idea is to like move a little bit forward and then hit a longer button. So for Kai, if your 5K and 2K are getting smoked a lot, it's probably the distance you're sitting at or the timing you're hitting it. Like from like this range here, it's really hard for Kai to reactively play with Far Slash or 2S. He just doesn't have time to hit it before I can do that, you know?
Mm.
So here, if you see him twitch at all, you can try to react 5k, 2k. But honestly, I mean, you can afford to just like back up once or twice, just to say I'm going to move to a range where I can contest with my long buttons. Once you've done that once or twice, now the RPS starts with they think that you're going to back up, so now you come forward and take space with close slash. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then once you do
It's sort
that,
of like right button, wrong time. Sounds
yeah. It's a lot of movement, especially for a character like Kai, where the exact spacing that you're at matters a ton against how you play neutral against this character. And it's hard to describe. Like for me, I know that right about this range, it's like really really specific. So like this range, I'm scared because my 5k will barely reach, right? And my 2k won't reach, so I'm worried. Then here, I know that your 5k 2k can't hit me, but your far slash and 2s might be too slow, so I can hit that. And then at a little bit further range, it's like, all right, now I need to try to respond. And then from here, okay, now I need to worry about projectiles. So there's a lot of little range differences that you need to learn threats for, and it is fairly character specific, but in general, those character specific ranges will apply for most of the cast, not just Chipp. And hey, if you want to talk about this sometime, we can sit down and have a conversation about that per character.
Mhm.
Sound good?
Yep. Thank you.
I do
right.
have one more question. This might be quick / difficult to answer. This is all neutral from the perspective of the chip is coming at you, right? Like in a similar situation to Osh, like I have this Testament friend who can't help but playing Rushdown. If
I know
I
that guy.
yeah, if you're in the situation where you're approaching the chip, is it basically the same RPS, or are there things that you like feel like you get caught by a lot by people approaching you?
Well, approaching Chipp is really hard. It's actually, I think, harder almost than trying to just control space. The reason for that is because he just has so many options to get out. I think the big thing with approaching Chipp and saying you really want to go at him is rather than swinging all the time, I think it's a lot stronger to try to take space and slowly work him to the corner. And what I mean by that is, that's not what I wanted. You're playing Kai, right? Kai probably doesn't want to do this super often, but you can. So, I'm worried about this Chipp, right? You've got to first establish a quick offense of like, all right, I can do this. I'm gonna run up and hit things that are just gonna I'm just gonna throw out buttons, right? That will make a Chipp want to play responsibly to say, he's gonna try and whiff punish you. When that happens, right? If you can tell that Chipp is about to switch to that mode of play, which, and again, this is RPS reads. That's kind of how that works. You just start taking space. Just literally, you don't even have to run. Just walk at it. Just walk forward. Okay? Because Chipp, if you run at him and try to swing, you're probably just going to whiff and get hit. But if you just walk forward, all right, now he's here, right? You walk forward a little bit more, all right, now he's here. And now you've got him in the corner. Okay. Now, once he's in the corner, this is still a neutral thing. This isn't just a pressure thing. In general, you want to stand, under the timer. This is a really strong position to just hold the corner. As you can see, most characters can pressure from this range with some buttons. All right, a little dash forward will get this to hit, this'll hit, and then you can also catch his escape options. He's gonna try to triple jump. He's gonna try to triple jump or try to alpha blade out. From this range, you can contest all of those. If he jumps, you can catch him. If he tries to alpha blade out, you can 6P it or you can air throw it. And if he tries to run at you, you can just hit a button. But you have to work him to the corner, and it's going to be much easier to do with movement and trying to take space than it will be by just swinging. Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Lastly, if they're backdashing, if you see a Chipp backdash 3 times, literally just walk forward, okay? They're gonna put themselves into negative penalty in a second, and you're just gonna take space, and it's fine. All right?
Sounds good.
Any other questions about neutral game? No? Alright, looks like we're good. Then we will talk about Chipp's pressure and how to deal with it. Let me go ahead and set you to all guard. Not instant block, don't do that. Alright, so once Chipp has established pressure, and this is kind of true in the corner and out of it, basically that's going to come in a couple ways. Hitting far slash into Rekka, getting a Gamma Blade. Oh, let me change the counterattack settings real quick. Or, you know, hitting something plus, which is really just close slash, or like technically 2K isn't plus, but it basically is. The way Chipp's pressure works, it is a combination of staggers, resets, and high-low mix-ups. The way it works is like this. His primary pressure tool is Rekka. He's going to go glow blue, and he has 3 moves. He can do Rekka 1, Rekka 2, and Rekka 3. Rekka 1 is mid, Rekka 2 is low, Rekka 3 is an overhead. All of these moves are minus both on hit and on block. And the fact that they're minus on block is really significant. You probably will not be able to punish Rekka 1. It's -4, I believe. If you instant block it, you can punish it. But other than that, if Chipp is just doing this, you're probably not going to be able to hit him. What you will do if he's just doing this over and over again trying to reset is contesting with a relatively quick button that will hit from that range. Typically 6p is a good option, or just choosing to escape the situation. What he's going to start trying to do then is saying, I'm going to frame trap you with Rekka 1 into Rekka 2. This can have anywhere from a true block string, so a 0 frame gap, up to, I believe, a 7 frame gap. And it's completely manually timed by Chipp. This will lose to just sitting there blocking, and then you can try to contest afterwards. He is -6 on the Rekka 2 if he doesn't cancel it, so you can... Someone like Kai can punish it with 2k, or if you have a long 2k, it's good. If you have a good 6p, that'll work. Try to avoid pressing far slash in this situation if you can avoid it, unless he's like really far out when he does it, like he's here, because far slash will often get smoked by just hitting a reset because of the spacing of it. In terms of Rekka 3, it's a close slash punish. If you block it, it's -9. It is 24 frames of start, I believe, so it is reactable. Hypothetically, it's not easy to do, but it is doable. And a lot of times you can fuzzy it relatively easily. For those of you who don't know what fuzzy blocking is, it just means you're blocking low, you see the Rekka 2, you immediately just default to blocking high for a second. Not a full second, just some amount of time that you think the Rekka 3 is going to come. Because you can do that and then go back to blocking low in time for him to hit his only low, which will reach from that range, which is 2D. So if you block it, easy punish. Just hit close slash, do your best combo. Or, if you don't want to deal with that, you can actually preemptively 6p the move. Where is Kai? 6p. Right, so you can do that, and as you can see, it'll counter hit him. I believe most characters have a timing that they can do this. Some 6Ps might be a little bit weird. I know Gold Lewis can't do it very easily. I think Testament also had some problems, I believe, trying to 6P this move because of weird hurtbox and hitbox stuff. But generally, it's a decent option. You get a counter hit and do whatever combo you want. So, once you've learned, or once you've established that you can deal with the very basic block the overhead, block the low, Chipp is then going to start doing stuff like, you know, reset, or he'll do Rekka 1, Rekka 2, and then 2D, stuff like that, just to get you to start really worrying about, like, all right, when's he going to do it? He's mixing up timing, the resetting sucks. Ultimately, the safest answer to all of this is to just block. Hold down back until you see him leave the ground, in which case you can react and block high. It is your safest option, so that should be your default. Beyond that, all of these resets are negative and interruptible. Which button you interrupted with will vary per character. Kai is usually going to want to press 2K. 2K, 5K are very common answers for most of the casts. 6P is also will stop far slash resets very well. And also, FDing him out when he's resetting a bunch helps a lot because it forces him to take longer to run in, which gives you, 5 to 10 more frames to try to punish him. That is pretty much how you deal with Rekka. And the nice thing about Rekka is that that is mostly true on hit as well, because Rekka 1 and 2 are both negative, so you can just continue to try to RPS and decide, I want to press even though this hit me. It's not uncommon for chips to hit Rekka 1, Rekka 2 without meter, and then back off because they actually do not want to RPS in the situation afterwards. Alright, I know that was a lot, so before we continue with Esser's pressure, any questions about Rekka pressure?
I don't think
No?
so.
Everyone good? Alrighty, now we get to talk about the rest of Chip's options. So his only plus moves are Close Slash, which you just treat it like every other plus on block Close Slash. You probably shouldn't press afterwards most of the time, but if you want to send it, you know, fuck it, we can. Or Gamma Blade. This move is +9. It's very, very difficult to press afterwards. You can, but he has a lot of ways to frame trap very well off it. Like very easily. You can do this. It's super easy to just constantly sort of mash and reset, and it's very difficult to press after. I would not recommend it unless you really know what you're doing. However, you can just hit it. Most characters can simply press 5p and hit out the Gamma Blade. 5p will work, 6p will probably work, 5k on some characters will work. Let me see if it works on Kai. It may or may not. You trade there. Yeah, in general, hitting 5p, 2p, and then you can cancel off that. So rather than just hitting the button once, come with a buffer ready. For example, for Kai, doing something like 5p Food the Dark actually will probably work out decently well, or 5p Stun Dipper if you want to be aggressive. You probably will not get a combo, but you get to start pressure. You can also RC on if you want to. If you have a DP, you can DP this move. Just hit it. Do not let him do it for free. I know it's scary to press against Chipp, but the move is not fast. I believe it's 25 frames of startup. Let me double check that. Gamma Blade. Yeah, 25 frames of startup. Sometimes longer depending on spacing. So you can press against this and you can react to it. Just hit it. Just give him a good old smack. Sorry?
I do have a question about the clone. Does this method apply for when Chipp is doing the infinite positive bonus bullshit?
No, because you will not have time to press due to the RC slowdown.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Just making sure that wasn't just like a blind spot that I was missing in that.
yeah, no. So I will get to that specific situation in a little bit.
Perfect.
The only other thing I have to say about Clone is if you have a one-hit super, mash that shit, he explodes. It hits the Clone and it hits him, and that does double damage, and he just loses so much fucking health. Ram, Gold Lewis, Bedman, and I think May can actually TOD Chipp in the corner if they hit the Clone and him at the same time with the super. Like it's a one-hit TOD. I don't remember if Testament can. I think maybe they don't have quite enough damage. Yeah. But yeah, you can super the Clone. You can DP it. Just hit it. That's the big thing. All right. I'm gonna fuck up the input for this, but you know, Chipp has positive bonus. He's doing like this. Hold on. Nah, I fucked it up already. Yeah, so I got one loop of it there. When Chipp is doing something like that positive bonus just loops over and over again. There's not a lot you can do. It is an infinite block string. Luckily, the counterplay for it is actually really simple. You just hold down back. Eventually, Chipp is either going to run out of positive bonus, or he's just going to give it up a little bit early, and he's going to go for a mix-up. Once you are in that situation, and you will be able to see the mix-up coming, you're right back to where you are with Chipp. Which is, it's just standard. The risk reward is just very skewed now. But it's going to be the same mix-up it always is, which is either he's going to try to get you with a throw or a high or some sort of weird stagger. But when he's actually doing the infinite block string, just hold down back for like 3 or 4 seconds and then wait for him to do a mix-up. Most of the time, the mix-up is going to be 6K. Like probably the overwhelming majority, he's just going to try to do this and catch people lacking because he'll get a big risk counter hit on it. Which just, block high or 6-speed if you want to be aggressive. So yeah, the positive bonus, it's not bad. There's a lot of argument about how good it actually is. You can watch top players sometimes opting to just not do it at all, even though they had the perfect chance to, because they decided that going for mix-ups or just confirmed damage was better. But in general, down back it. All right, his other options. 6K, which is the button that I just mentioned. This is an overhead. It is -2 on block, which means you cannot punish it. And I think it's only +1 on hit, I believe. So he does not get a combo off it unless it is meaty or he has meter. It's fast. I think this move is basically unreactable. If Chipp doesn't have meter, I actually wouldn't stress that much about it, to be honest. I think that a lot of the time Chipp will do this to try to get you to block low. At which point, they're not going to hit you with something that does more damage or gives them a better situation. Even if it hits, he's only +1 and not always at a good range. So feel free to contest him. Like, hit 6P, 2K, 2D kind of thing. Just, don't be too scared to swing at it. The move is really not that big of a threat until he has meter. Once he has meter, treat it like any other damaging overhead. Easy. Next up is his Alpha Blades. Alright. Basic idea is he disappears, and he's going to try to do this, which you have to block cross up. If you're in the corner, if he's on the ground, and he does the diagonal one, he'll cross you up. Or sorry, if he does the horizontal, he will cross you up. He cannot cross you up with the diagonal one if you're on the ground. If he's in the air, he can choose to do that, or he can choose to keep it same side. Really, it's a weird move to talk about. It's something that will most likely catch you when you've already been thinking about everything else that he's doing. It's very much a mental stack move, because ultimately these moves are very slow and very, very reactable. Let me get the exact frame data just so that people believe me. Alpha Blade on the ground is 27 frames of startup, or the diagonal. The horizontal is 29. In the air, the diagonal one goes up to 32. So they're not fast moves. They are very, very slow to activate. It just takes time to practice reacting to them, and usually they will try to do it as a sort of heat of the moment, mental stack sort of option. In terms of what happens afterwards, it gets a little bit tricky. On grounded, if he does, he'll be like -2 or -4, something that you probably can't punish. And it can be awkward, especially if he's in the air, because sometimes he'll put you in a position where he has an RPS off that. In general, if he just jumps at you and hits a button, or air dash at you and hits a button, you can 6P it. If he tries to land, you'll be plus, so you should just contest that. And a lot of times he'll just kind of escape off it, which is kind of okay. You just deal with that. Ultimately, it's scary if you're just trying to say, oh, I blocked a move, I can hit him here. If you kind of settle and just spend 5-10 minutes in training mode practicing punishing with 6P the different fall timings he has, you should be fine. Now the problem with these moves really comes when he starts mixing in command grab. This move is fucking annoying. It is it's slow. I believe 24 frames of startup. Let me double check that. 27, sorry. 27 frames, so again, slow. It's hard to tell apart from his Alpha Blade. It's very active. You can actually sometimes catch backdashes if you delay it at all. It's hard to see. It's generally a super annoying move. It leaves him airborne. You can do some really cursed mix-up with meter for this. Not that I have the hands for it. Yeah, I don't have the hands for it. In general, if you really want to be safe, if you see Chipp disappear, up back. If you're holding up back, if you see Chipp disappear at all, will go over horizontal Alpha Blade, will block diagonal Alpha Blade because it'll push you far enough back that you will not be a cross up, and will avoid the command grab. You probably will not get a punish, but it will keep you safe, so if you're scared, do that. In terms of punishing any of these moves, like I said, it's harder to punish the Alpha Blades. Generally, you want to RPS afterwards. If you're good, you can backdash the command grab every time. You just need to react to it and have good timing. I don't always recommend that. I think it's really hard, especially with the variable timing he has on it. So what I'd recommend instead is air backdash, hit a button. Spend some time in training mode, practicing a combo. You will get a big counter hit. I know like Soul will air backdash JH and then proceed to do like half my fucking health for that. Anji has a pretty fucked up punish off it. Most characters will be able to do a decent combo and should probably get Oki off of it. So really, it's not that bad. It is that bad, but it's also not that bad. Just spend some time in training mode, practicing, reacting to it, and getting a punish off of it. Other than that, just a couple quick little notes. His tick throw buttons are either going to be close slash or 2K, and he'll run up and throw you. Sometimes they'll do something like Gamma Blade run up throw. If they did that, you're probably fucked anyways, so, you know, good luck. Let's see. His air options, I mean, when he jumps at you, most of the time it's going to be a double overhead into low. Very rarely it's a single, but if it is a single, you can kind of tell based on the height. I find it's actually pretty hard to open people up with just doing overheads and lows with his jump-ins, but he gets a lot of safe jumps off his pressure, so be aware of that. And that's really it in terms of his pressure. He has all of these options, and obviously it is very, very scary, but most of the time he doesn't get a lot of damage off of it, even if he's right. So don't stress it too much, and do not panic. Actually, I probably should have said that at the beginning of the pressure section. Do not panic. Go get yourself a copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because that book explains really well why not panicking is good for you. All right, any questions? Nope, everyone feeling comfortable?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good so far.
Alrighty. Last but not least, I actually do want to talk about Chipp on defense, because this character on defense is low-key kind of fucked up. So, infamously, he has a 3-frame 5P. This move is cursed. It will fuck up all of your block strings. It will fuck up all of your tick throws. You will get very angry at it, and sometimes you will just do this to make you even more mad. It's 3-frame 5P, so if you don't have a tight block string, be aware it's going to get thrown all the time. Also, though, and this is important, it will whiff on most crouching characters. If I set Chipp to be crouching here, or Skycar rather, as you can see, it just completely goes over him. I think Gold Lewis, Nago, and Pot, and maybe Bed are probably the only characters that'll hit while they're crouching. Maybe a few others with some weird stuff, but like 90% of the time, it's gonna whiff. So, you know. Other than that, he's got 5K and 2K, which are both pretty good mash options. This is a great mash option. 5-frame low like Axel. Not quite as long, but still very good. And he's got 6P. And then he's also got a DP. If you want a general DP guide, I'm sure someone else can give a better idea of that than I can. But try to safe jump it and try to do things that will bait it if they're DPing a lot. His is 2 hit. That doesn't really change a lot, but it is something to note. And the last thing, and I kind of mentioned this earlier when it came to the neutral game, but his triple jumps actually make him being in the corner kind of not a good situation, because he can just sort of pop out here if you're pressing too hard. Excuse me, sorry. So a big thing is, again, standing kind of, establishing pressure like a little bit further out from your normal range, like maybe here or like right under the timer kind of thing. That's maybe a little far. It's hard to move Kai. But like kind of like right under the timer usually is a good idea. It's not always super easy for him to contest at this range. you will be able to catch his triple jumps, or he can, you know, again, he can jump, air dash, and jump again, so it's kind of tricky to keep him pinned down. His backdash is also very, very good. It's actually incredibly underrated. It's fast. It goes decently far. It's surprisingly hard to catch. In general, I think that against Chipp, you should probably have tighter block strings than normal. The trade-off for this on most characters is that you will get less damage, but Chipp's health bar is so low that you probably are better off sacrificing the damage to keep him pinned down harder anyways. Also, please, for the love of God, if you get hit by Wake Up Close Slash on Chipp, just Alt F4, you have already lost the game. They do this when they know that you're too scared of everything else, at which point you are just being not aggressive enough. I've seen it happen. Trust me. Don't let this be you. All right. I think any questions on any of what I just said? Anything specifically?
I would just note that you should also be afraid of Wake Up Close Slash from Bikins, from what I've heard.
Okay, that's a different story. That's a completely different story, all right? A Bikin pressing close slash on your wake up is like a valid wake up option. If a Chipp does it, it means he's read you like 6 years ago, kind of thing. Oop, I just got pinged in the chat. What do I do when you keep pressing 6K in my face? You block it high. You just block it high. Immediately followed by the fuck. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were here for that. You can high block it, or it's only +1 on hit, so you can contest afterwards if you want to. Like it's feel free to press. It is not easy to react to. It's a strong move. It just does not give him a lot without meter. So until he has meter, this move is like not something you need to worry about. And even then, he's spending meter to do like a single combo, and it's a Chipp combo, so not that big a deal. All right. Are there any more like specific questions? Because if not, I don't mind going into like character specifics or more detail about anything.
I do have one specific request. And it's that you probably remember what it is better than I can ask you to do what it is. It's that corner mix-up where you have to... It's a side swap that you have to block the opposite way that you think Chipp is actually going.
Oh, the weird Alpha Blade shit?
Yeah, I think it might be the weird Alpha Blade thing. Because it's one where it's like, you think that Chipp is going to hit you in one direction, but it's actually he's coming down to the other. It might be a J2K mix. I don't... exactly.
Okay. So, well, there's a couple of weird corner cross-ups. So the primary one is Alpha Blade. He'll do Alpha Blade from like this range. And there's like, it kind of depends on like range. So if he's this close, he'll bounce off and you have to block it facing the wall, or he can hold forward and get a cross-up. So I don't actually know if that's reactable, to be completely honest with you. I don't think it is. It might be fuzzyable. Maybe. Yeah, I have no idea if that's reactable. I don't think it is. If they're in this situation, it means that they already were plus enough to do it. If they weren't plus enough to do it, then you definitely had time to just mash or hit a 6P or something like that. In terms of J2K, let me hear. J2K moves you slightly forward. Honestly, my biggest response to people who have trouble dealing with this move is just don't be underneath Chipp. If you see him do this and he's in the air, just leave. Like, just straight run. It can be really annoying trying to deal with ambiguous J2K cross-ups. As you can see, it's like, you know, kind of tight to tell when he's going to cross up or not. So, just probably leave is your best bet. Get out, reset to neutral, figure out what to do from there. Does that kind of answer your question? I know it's a weird cross-up situation, and there's like some stuff that Chipp can do in the corner to cross up. I know he can like do that, which is incredibly cursed. But again, you can just mash here if you're this worried about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there's wall run shit. All right, hold on. Wall running. Basically, just react to how high he is when he gets off. and that'll tell you if he's crossing you up or not. I don't know the exact line. It's just kind of something you have to learn with practice. But there, if I tie my button right, that would have crossed up, as opposed to that, which would hit. Or sorry, the first one would hit same side. Second one hit cross up. It's really just the higher he is, at a certain point, he has to hit same side. So it just basically react to the height, pretty much.
Okay.
It's Alpha Blade mix is fake, or sorry, wall running mix is fake a lot of the times, anyways. It's mostly going to be used for weird reset situations where most of the time you should probably block towards the corner. Most chips will try and keep the corner, so you should assume that you're going to block with your back to the corner. Generally speaking, you can fuzzy block them in terms of the high-low. It's not really that tight a fuzzy block, actually. And like I said, just look at the height, practice it in training mode to just kind of get a sense of like how high he needs to be to cross you up. Fair enough?
Cool.
All right. Does anybody have any character-specific stuff they want to know how to deal with Chipp with? And feel free, because we've got like, what, 18 minutes left of this?
Get your questions.
What about May?
Okay, all right.
Any tips for May?
Yeah, just fucking kill his ass.
I like this strategy. Please.
As a quick note while I'm loading this up, Ryuniku has said, talk about how DLC 2K low profile is far slash. The nice thing is that basically every 2K will low profile far slash, except for like a handful of specific ones. Most characters 2K will low profile this move. It is very low profile level. All right, May. All right, here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
This move with JH, I believe. Yeah, this is a very strong neutral tool. He hates having to swing into this. Generally speaking, being in the air is kind of not easy for Chipp to deal with because his jump K tends to get smoked out by, again, JH, or even like her hitting jump D. JH is terrifying. This is a very scary move. In neutral, this move is fucked up. It is so hard for Chipp to whiff punish it. So very scary. Swinging far slash, don't do it super often. It's actually less safe than just hitting 5H, to be honest. This move will usually serve you better. 2S is a very good option. 3K is risky, but you can go for it. And then, you know, dolphin his ass sometimes. In terms of defense, all the standard stuff applies. 5P, 2P. She does have the added benefit of being able to up dolphin her way out of stuff, which can get you out of a lot of tricky situations. If I could up dolphin, which I can't. All right, I am bad. Oh, how do I? There we go. Yeah, up dolphin. It'll get you out of a lot of situations. Hold on, I was gonna say something else. Right, S dolphin. This is important. Look up. What the fuck's it called? Someone
Dolphin
ping Wii
OPS.
Sports. Yeah, someone ping Wii Sports. There's a spreadsheet that has a bunch of dolphin LPS stuff, and it's really important. The big thing is that after S dolphin, Chipp is going to most likely press far slash, which will beat pretty much everything except like jumping or 6P. So those should be like your kind of default buttons or default options after S dolphin. You know, jumping to get a reset, like something like that, or just hitting 6P, because his far slash will smoke a lot of options. Then he'll start RPSing with 2D, in which case you can start mixing in your K buttons again, because 2D is also very scary. Be aware that he's actually very good at RPSing around S dolphin. So be a little bit cautious when you're using it, or just get really good at RPSing. Alternatively, you can start trying to backdash, or maybe even just walk back with punishing the far slash, stuff like that. Again, look at the chart and really build it up from there. Just probably the first time, my guess is just do this and see what Chipp's gonna do, and build your RPS off of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 Also, for
Alright.
anyone wondering, it's not the soundboard or your ears breaking. Burst does have every Mei line replaced with Totsugeki.
Yes. And if you don't do that, you're just trash, to be honest.
Damn, I suck then.
You do.
I do.
All right. That's like the general Mei game plan. I think Mei's matchup in a chip is generally fine just because of how much damage she does. So if your combos are, like basic Mei B and B combos, as long as you have those down, don't stress it too much. All right. Someone in chat has said, or Slate Maze, I believe is how you say that. What is the Chip game plan for the Gold Lewis matchup? Do you mean from Chip's perspective or from Gold Lewis's perspective? Because those are two very different answers.
I believe Slightmate is asking from the Chip perspective mostly.
Oh, okay.
I've been muted twice. Yes, from Chip's
Hold on.
perspective.
All right. So from the Chip's perspective, I'm already looking at my next round opponent because I've already written off this match as a win. So this matchup is like, it's not easy for Gold Lewis. In general, Gold Lewis is going to swing with Far Slash, JD, and Behemoths. None of those are like good options in the matchup. He's, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know which Behemoths he's gonna do in neutral. I don't have the neutral options memorized. It's one of them. Someone else probably knows better than I do. But between this, that, and just swinging these, basically Chip wants to stand like here, and then just run at you. You are gonna hit a button, and he's gonna run at you and whiff punish you, and it's gonna happen like every single time. How to deal with it? You've just got to guess right. Like it's actually really difficult for Gold Lewis. You've got to start baiting him. So if you just swing a lot for like 3, 4, 5 seconds, just constantly swinging, throwing things out, then what you do is you will get Chip into the mental of, I am going to just wait for him to hit a button and whiff punish him. Then you just hit P, and then now he's running at you. He's going to react to the movement. So hit P and hit a quick button, something like P far slash. Maybe P 6P. I don't know how good your 6P is. You can get away with 2K sometimes, but it's kind of slow and it's kind of stubby. The idea behind hitting this P button is just a lot of Chips will start reacting to Gold Lewis's like any change in his animation and just running forward. And the idea is you just throw out a really, really quick move and then do something to catch his approach. You can try to play passively. I don't think it's very easy to try to respond to Chip. If he's running at you preemptively and he's just swinging, you just have to guess that he's going to do it and hit a button, which will probably be far slash, to be completely honest with you, or maybe 2P. And then he's actually not like super concerned about JD. He usually can't 6P it, but oftentimes you're not going to be in a position to use it. If he sees you go into the air, he might just decide to jump up and hit a button or DP you. And if you throw out drone, pretty much he's almost always just going to jump over it. Just absolutely get out of here, say, I don't want to deal with you, I don't care about your JS, I don't care about your drone, I'm just going to leave. That's the general Chip game plan into Gold Lewis. Sit there, let him swing at you, and then run at him. And it manifests very, very difficult for Gold Lewis to really establish pressure. On defense, if you're the Gold Lewis, I guess you pray? I don't really know.
You like really suffer in the corner, right?
It's awful. It's really bad. Go watch some Darkrai footage and see what he does, I guess. The last time I did that, the answer that I got was that Darkrai is a very religious man and just prayed a lot. Yeah, I think that's the general game plan, is mostly just run at him when he swings at you. Do you have any questions about that or anything more? Or...
No, I'll work with it.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's easy. I think this is one of Chipp's easiest matchups in the game. Again, if you really get good at, it kind of sucks for advice. Try to just get good at making reads. If you can get like 1 or 2 good reads on Chipp, you can win just by fucking blowing him up. Just be aware that on defense, Chipp is a problem because he has a good mashing button in 5P and he has a DP. Both of which can kind of deal with Gold Lewis really well.
I mean,
Alright,
great segue.
yeah.
We got Jackie Nuts in for the Gold Lewis breakdown. Not scheduled yet, but I'll definitely let you know as soon as it is.
Hell yeah. And then feel free to ask Jackie what they think about the matchup and see if they have better advice, because I'm going to be honest, my advice is think about your next round loss. It's not easy. It's very difficult. If you are just like better than the Chipp, it becomes like, you know, make one read, blow him up. As soon as you're kind of at like the same level, I think it becomes really difficult. All right. Anyone else want to talk about character specific stuff?
I have a question.
Amy.
What are you looking for as the Chipp when fighting a Sin? Because I kind of want to play around what Chipp is looking for to punish Sin.
Okay. When fighting Sin, I'm looking for, hold on. I need to actually figure out. I can tell you visually, so let me load up the character real quickly. But I don't actually remember what moves are called. Give me one
Fair
second.
enough.
Fuck. What's the special move? The long one.
The Beak Driver.
Beak Driver. Yes. I'm mostly looking for that.
Okay.
Because
Fair.
Sins like to throw that out a lot. Not that. What is the input for it? This shit.
Okay.
They like to throw this out a lot. I really want them to throw it out because I'm just gonna run in and whiff punish this move. It is very whiff punishable.
Okay.
But in general, let me see. Not that. This I see a lot. This. So what's that? What's it? Far slash 2S, Beak Driver, and then they'll usually rotate to hitting 2K, and 2H sometimes. In general, I'm waiting for Sin to hit one of those buttons so that I can run at him.
Okay.
He's gonna swing. He's probably gonna swing from like this range, right? Like I'm gonna be sitting kind of at this range. So then like a little bit walk back from here will cause that to whiff, and then I just run at him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Generally speaking, as Sin, you probably want to throw these out to try to get someone to run at you, and then hit a quick button. Sajam very recently made a good video talking about, if you look up like Sajam with normal on YouTube, he has a good video explaining this exact thought process, and I think that it applies really, really well to dealing with Chipp.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the video exactly, but it's a good one.
All right. I'll probably take a look at that. Because
Also-
I've heard from most Chipps that this matchup is fucking horrible for Sin, and I don't see it. Maybe it's because I've already been kind of doing what you've been saying.
That's fair. I generally do agree that I think that it's a relatively easy matchup. I think a big thing is that Sin's pressure is very mashable.
Yeah.
And Chipp's mash buttons are very good.
Yeah. That's
so even if you get hit, a lot of the times as Chipp, I'm just kind of like, well, okay, I'm gonna eat like one mix-up normally, and then I'm out. In neutral though, like yeah, this is the game plan in neutral, is just waiting for this, or this to try to get you to whiff, and then I'm just gonna run at you.
Okay.
Offense and defense, everything is pretty much as I explained it earlier. This DP sucks. And Chipp has a lot of safe jumps, so be careful using it.
Yeah.
All right, that's Sin. I mean, nothing too specific. Anybody else? No.
No, I think you killed it.
Alrighty. Well,
Never
feel
gonna lose to
free
a Chipp
hit-
again.
Feel free to hit me up for any more questions. If you have tried some of the advice and finding it's not working, send me a ping in this server or in any other server that I'm in, and we can sit down and have a chat about it. Big things, overall ideas. Don't panic. Have prepared responses to things. Like, know what you're going to punish Rekka 3 with. Know what you're going to punish Command Grab with. Like, know that beforehand. It'll help you stay calm a lot. It'll help you not flail as much. And if you're struggling and you know another chip or you want to talk to me, send me a ping and like we can just sit down for like an hour or two in a VC and lab out situations, responses, talk about theory in incredible detail. Use the resources available to you. Trust me, it will help. All right, I guess that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Burrs.
No problemo. I definitely wasn't almost late because I was installing a Linux thing for a server. Don't